Hey. Yay. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is our third and final day, and we have a surprise guest for you guys here. Mr. Brandon Eaton. He is an entrepreneur. I will let him or Nicole introduce him further, but you guys are really in for a treat today. Brandon, I know that your business has just taken off. But I also know, just from what Nicola said, it wasn't like an overnight thing. So I think we're all just very excited and eager to hear from you on, kind of the steps and the struggles and the learning lessons and really how we can ramp up our sales and lead generations, right? That's what every business survives off of pretty much. So we're just really happy to have you guys back. And we hope that you get a ton out of this. And then we're just really eager to share like what at Visionary Blueprint we have coming next. If you haven't been here, I'm Casey Johnson, the founder of Ladies Lifestyle Network. We are a bunch of things, but pretty quickly, we're a women's empowerment, personal development, and professional networking community. And I've expanded it into 16 other chapters across the country, with more coming soon. And I will let the other ladies introduce themselves quickly, and then we'll kind of dive in with Brandon.
Cool.
Nicole,
Chelsea. Oh,
yes,
go ahead.
ahead.
Either one.
Whoever.
Chelsea Escaffi, 1/3 of Visionary Blueprint.
And I'm Nicole Eaton, author, speaker, intuitive therapist, and the last third of Visionary Blueprint. And Bran, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Okay. All right, great. I know I was expecting an amazing introduction from you, Nicole. So
Well, we've never met, so
if you guys haven't figured it out yet, I am Nicole's husband first and foremost, and most importantly. But no, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Stinger Sports. What Stinger Sports is, we are a sporting goods brand, and it's our mission to help people to experience the transformative experience of playing sports through high quality but affordable equipment and apparel. So we started Stinger Sports about 10 years ago, October of 2015. So we're coming up on 10 years. But yeah, as far as being an overnight success, it's a 10-year overnight success. So just a lot of grinding. Bootstrap business. We started with $200, about $200, and now we've done over 30 million in sales. This year we'll be over 10 million this year. So, but yeah, it's been a grind, but there's no such thing as an overnight success. It's just it's all about building and compounding. So.
well, I want to brag on you for a second because Stinger just had their biggest month in the last couple of months at 1.2 million, which is
amazing.
Which is insane because Brandon and I collectively made like $35,000 at one point. So, there there is like that element. I have the first question, if that's cool with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you had to start over from scratch, because there's a lot of people who are either new to business, kind of pivoting in their business and going a new direction. But if you had to start over from scratch, what would be the first 3 things you'd do to build a profitable business fast?
Love that. So one of the very first things that I would do is I would make sure to document everything. So document all of your processes. Okay. Because as you continue to build, you're going to have to duplicate yourself. And that is what I've found to be one of the hardest things, because only you know what you know. And if you document your processes and everything that you're doing through tools like Loom, there's a lot of other ones out there. Then it'll be a lot easier for you to be able to hand that over to somebody else, so you can show them and they can teach themselves how to do the different things that you're doing. So documenting your processes so you can duplicate and scale. Another thing that I would do probably, this business was, like I said, it was bootstrapped. We started with $200 and we just continued to reinvest and reinvest and reinvest all of our sales and profits. And so when you do something like that, the growth trajectory is slow. It's more of a slower burn. So probably one of the things that I would have done differently if I were to restart is to look for potential investors in the beginning, um, because that would help to make that growth quicker. So it wouldn't be necessarily a 10-year journey to this point. We could really cut that down. So that'd be another thing that I would do. And I think that probably what's the third thing I would do is I think I would be committed to diving headfirst into paid marketing, but in a smart way, and do that earlier. I think that was something that a lot of people are very leery about, and kind of have reservations about. But as long as it's done in the right way, we're living in my opinion, the time that is the biggest opportunity. We have so much at our fingertips when it comes to even AI or the internet, that when you're running a business, several years ago, prior to all of these tools, you were only marketing to a small geometric circle around your business. But being able to market to literally everybody with internet access is something that is just a huge opportunity. So that's one of the things that I would be doing differently, is diving headfirst into really committing to that, and going full force in that earlier.
Good answers. Good answers.
Can
Bree said in the chat, can you elaborate on a few signs that show you are ready to dive into paid marketing, and what you would keep in mind while exploring that?
Yeah. So one of the big things there is, you want to have, first and foremost, you gotta have a clear product, something that's clear that you're selling, and make sure that if test it out with other people that don't know anything that you're doing, and see if it's clear to them. They can be friends or family members that don't really know what it is that you're doing, whether it's a service or a product. Um, and sell it to them verbally, and make sure that it's clear, and what your mission is, and what your product is, your service is very clear to them. If it is, then you could move towards making that clear to somebody online, right? So as far as when you're ready to dive into that, finding there's a couple different ways you can do it. One being teaching yourself how to do the online marketing. Okay, that's definitely a slower thing, and it's going to require a lot of research on your own part. And I call it, I say it's the figure it the fuck out gene, right? If you're an entrepreneur and you don't have the figure it the fuck out gene, then you're in the wrong business, as far as I'm concerned. That is to me the most important thing that you can have. So go in there. You can figure out how to do these things and build ads, or you can hire somebody else. I can tell you that if you're hiring somebody else to do it, there's definitely some pitfalls there. Finding the right people to do it is one of the biggest pitfalls, because there's a lot of ad agencies out there where they'll sell you hard, they'll get you in, and then it's kind of like, unless you're the squeaky wheel, you're not going to get the grease. So it's kind of like a little bit of a set it and forget it type thing for them. So if you do go that route, I would say to just do your research and make sure that you're picking an ad agency that really knows what they're doing, that is familiar with your niche, and be a squeaky wheel. Ask for reports, ask for the analytics, and what is my return on ad spend, and where can I scale, which are you doing A/B testing? And if you don't know what A/B testing is, definitely look that up. um, that's something that's huge, and that they need to be doing. If they're an ad agency and they're not doing those things, then they're not the right one for you. So um, when you're ready, I would say, again, going back to making sure you have a very clear product, a very clear service that is clear to everybody. If you can verbalize it, then you can make it clear online. And then either choosing it, do I want to try to figure this out myself and run these ads myself, or do I want to try to find an ad agency? And hopefully that answered that question for you. If it didn't, then please let me know if you have any other things that you want to touch on.
No, it totally did. Thank you so much. That was really, really super valuable and really insightful.
Awesome.
Well, I have a question. So, and this is just kind of specific to me, because like with LLN, I'm selling, right, featured business spaces at the events, but I'm also wanting to promote kind of nationally, even globally, for people to launch a chapter.
Mhm.
Now I am like this is my baby, so it's hard to release too much control. Even though in my head I know like the more I release, and I'm trust me, I'm getting better. Like these girls know I get better like every month. But when is the point where, because I know you were like, right, duplicate your systems, which I've done. So like when they come on, they literally get everything, they know exactly what to do. But where was the point where you were like in your head, okay, I need to bring more people on? Because I know now like you have all these different teams, right? And all these different employees. And it's like, what was kind of the switch in your head? And then of course that opens up for so many more sales and for you to use your brain power on so many more like money generating things, but it's like, I feel like there's a switch, and it's like, what do you remember, like that moment or that thing or that incident that kind of did that for you?
You mean that incident when I decided, hey, we need to hire somebody?
Yeah, just like if I'm gonna really take this to the next level, I need to kind of be comfortable releasing this control to
Yeah.
other people, right?
Yeah. Well, first, let me touch on that. That's releasing the control is something that every single entrepreneur is going to struggle with. And I still struggle with that. And I don't think that's ever going to stop, to be honest, because, this is your baby and this is something that you have built. And, it's really hard to kind of hand that over to somebody else. But I think the biggest thing is, when hiring your first employee and then hiring continual, more and more employees are kind of two different things. Your first one, I feel like is always the hardest kind of leap
Mm.
because it's the first one, right? It's like having your first kid, right? It's going from 0 to 1 is the hardest leap. People say it's 1 to 2, but I promise you 0 to 1 is the hardest. But yeah, it's
Cool.
but I don't know. Nicole might disagree, but I think 0 to 1's the hardest. But so for me, it was like, and anybody else, I would say, look at the tasks that you're doing that are taking up time, and they're tasks that are not tasks that only you can do, right? Anything that's like, daily, like kind of maniacal data entry, like whatever it is, the task that you can hand off, and not that it's not something that is unique to you and your skills, and figure out how much time you are spending doing those tasks, and then put a value on it, right? What would your value be if you got that time back and you could spend that time doing things that only you can do? How much is that worth, right? um, and then that determines, all right, well, if it's worth that much and I'm taking this off of my plate, I can hire somebody at that amount, or lower, whatever it is, and continue to grow, fill in those time gaps with things that are going to generate more revenue. So that's, to me, that's the kind of the 0 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
As you continue to grow and scale and add more employees, I think it's important to look at your numbers and figure out what is a employee per revenue number that makes sense to you, that you're still going to be profitable at. So for me, it's 500,000. So I know that $500,000 per employee revenue, we're going to be profitable, and there's nothing, that's kind of our threshold. So I know that if I want to hire somebody else, I need to find a way to generate another $500,000 in revenue. Now, if it's a salesperson,
Mm-hmm.
they could generate that themselves, right? As long as they're good at what their job, they're good at what they're doing. Um, but yeah, that's kind of like 0 to 1 is a little bit different than scaling. But yeah, for us, it's figuring out what your revenue per employee is,
I like
and
that.
and then adding that on. Yeah.
How do you find out your revenue per employee? Is there like a formula that you use?
Yeah. It's really just getting deep into your EBITDA, I guess, is one.
An
Your
EBITDA. Break it down.
So sorry. Can we talk about what that means for a
Okay.
minute?
So basically what your EBITDA is it's your real profit. Okay. So it's your profit before taxes, right? So if you look at, and if you have an accountant that you work with, you can ask them what your EBITDA is, and they'll let you know. But if you look at your P&L, your profit and loss, and figure out your costs and all of those things, that can really tell you where your sweet spot is. So we determined that ours is 500,000 per employee, just because it's a really safe spot for us. Really, we could end up going lower than that and still be profitable, but for us, we want to keep our EBITDA at 20%, which means that 20% of all of our revenue is profit. So I know that if we stick at the $500,000 per employee, that we can keep that 20% of overall revenue as profit.
That makes sense. Thank you.
If anybody has questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Chelsea, I think you said you had one yesterday.
Yeah, I just actually, my husband just joined, I see, but I wanted to ask a question on behalf of Minted Capital. And Brandon, this is a super technical question, so I mean, feel free to go like very high level with us, but just out of curiosity, we've been experimenting with different ways to generate leads over the last year, and we spend a large amount of money purchasing leads from LendingTree. If there was a way that we could create something similar to LendingTree where people are directed to our website, whether that be through social media or other forms of internet advertising, where they're encouraged to fill out their own information to get pricing from us. So we take LendingTree completely out of it. What do you recommend?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's your cost per lead from LendingTree?
Anywhere from, I think, Fernando, keep me honest here, maybe like $60 to $80, somewhere in there.
And then what's your average?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Sorry, go ahead. It's actually a lot cheaper now, Chelsea, but it's about $30 average per lead.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's not bad. And as far as like your quality of leads, are they really highly qualified leads, or what would you say is your closing percentage on those?
Close percentage is about 1%.
Okay.
1%. So we're competing with about 5 other lenders that are buying the same lead, and so we're trying to eliminate that competition to increase conversion.
So one of the things I would say that's I think you're on the right path, and I think Fernando, I think we had a conversation about this maybe a couple years ago.
Yeah.
At Lily's. Yep. But no, I think you're definitely on the right path. Why? So as opposed to paying somebody else for leads, right? Generate your own leads. And there's a really great way. This is what we do. So I'll tell you what we've done, and then I think you can apply it to your business as well. So one of the things that I think is really important for you to do is, have you ever seen a LendingTree ad that is generating your leads? Have you ever seen one before? What they look like?
Yeah. No, I've gone on. I've really done it on social media, not so much. The finance sector in like Google paid search is pretty expensive, and tough to break into.
Yeah, and I think social media is definitely where you want to be for this lead generation. This effort that you're putting in. I think that's low hanging fruit, honestly. So if you know what these ads look like, you can definitely duplicate them or make them better, right?
All right, I'm gonna leave it unmuted. Sorry. Yeah. That's kind of we haven't launched it yet. I feel like it's something we gotta get into, but when it comes to like targeting, like on Facebook and all that stuff, that's where we don't have a lot of experience.
Yeah. So one of the things that we've done is all of our leads are self-generated, and it's mostly through social media, but they're all very, very highly qualified. And kind of how we've done that is obviously with the targeting, but once they get to our website, it's not just a simple name, email form, right? Now there's kind of two different schools of thought. And I think for you, Fernando, if you want to increase your closing percentage, that you probably want to kind of go with the same thing that we did. And so what that is, to get really highly qualified leads, is the form that it brings them to actually generate a lead it's long, you know? So we did that on purpose because we don't want, you know, I call them tire kickers. You know, we don't want people that are just like going to waste our time, right? Waste our salespeople's time reaching out to them. We want people that are serious about what we have to offer. And we know that if they're taking the time to fill out this form and give us literally all the information that we need to take them from A to Z, as a customer, that they're pretty serious. If they're taking the time to fill all that out, then they're pretty serious. And so our closing percentage is about 50% of these leads. So which
That's super solid. Yeah.
yeah, and it's because they're highly qualified, right? They're taking the time to do this, and no one's going to waste their time to doing that if they're not serious, right? So if they're not going to waste their time, then they're not going to waste your time, right? So I think that's a huge thing. So you could literally take them to your website and ask them all this different information, all the qualifying things that you need in order to help them out. And if they take the time to do that, you know that they're a serious customer. You know,
Mhm.
that's a high quality lead. And I think your closing percentage on those leads is going to go up tremendously, but also you own them, right? So if you're choosing to either work the lead yourself or sell those leads to somebody else, right? You can charge more for those leads because those are people that are taking the time. They're not just clicking on a random, you know, ad they see on social media and filling out just their name and email, right? That's really a cold call. Like if you're getting a hold of that person, you know, it's practically a cold call, which is why closing percentage is going to be really low on that because you know, you have somebody that maybe has a little bit of interest enough to be able to take 2 seconds, put their name in on a form and submit it. But you know, raise your hand if you're somebody that's ever done that on on an ad, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've learned
100%.
not to because then I get bombarded and my inbox gets flooded, but everybody's done it. So so I think for you guys is you know, doing that, being a little bit different, getting more highly qualified leads. But I think something that's really cool for your business and Fernando, the way you operate is, and this is something that I think really makes you guys unique, is you're not the stuffy, you know, boring ass finance people, right? You're cool. You can talk like a normal person, and I think you make your ads like that. That's gonna be a differentiator for you in the market. People are gonna, you know, see you and be, oh, these are relatable people here, you know, and then I think that you'll get a lot more leads that way just by being real and, you know, like a real person, not a stuffy. Are you looking to refinance your home and get, you know, lower your
Sounds like
interest?
our AI
Alright.
ads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no kidding. That's funny. So most of the ads I saw that Lending Tree puts out are like just static image, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying maybe do more like a video ad.
Well, you want to, again, this goes back to the A/B testing. So basically, what A/B testing is, guys, is like you're testing out different creatives. So that would be like a static ad or a carousel or a video. And then so you're testing that with different ad copy, right? And mixing and matching, and then putting some revenue or putting some ad spend behind all of them and figuring out where the winners are, where the losers are, and then killing the losers and backing the winners. The funny thing about it, and the reason why you want to test it is you could be blue in the face thinking, "Oh man, this is perfect. This is the perfect ad." But I promise you, like the ones that win are oftentimes the ones you're like, "Really? What the hell?" Like I put so much into this video. This video is so great, but no, it's not converting at all. And then it's this stupid freaking static thing that's converting with my
Right.
least favorite copy, right? But you just don't know until you test it. So
No, good advice. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely.
So it looks like Bree asked, was there a moment in your business where the growth challenged your own identity or put you out of your comfort zone, and how did you explore that?
Yeah, all the time, all the time. I feel like, you know, they call them growing pains for a reason. It's because, you know, that's really what it is. It's you're learning, you're growing. I feel like, you know, I say that owning and growing a business is like jumping out of an airplane without a parachute and learning how to build it on the way down. And that's really kind of how it feels a lot of times, and that's at every level. And so, like I say, the figure it the fuck out gene, right? That's what it's all about. You're figuring out how to build that parachute on the way down. But yeah, I mean, you're pretty much, if you're growing, you're almost always out of your comfort zone. So that's nothing new. You know, it's, and I don't think that's ever going to go away as long as you're growing, right? As long as you're growing and you're building, you're going to constantly be pushing, constantly be out of your comfort zone, and and struggling, I guess, with your identity too. And when you say that, I mean, are you kind of referring to the um, like imposter syndrome, or is that kind of what you're thinking with your identity, or something else, if you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, what I was thinking of more specifically would be like, I mean, just like a lot of money beliefs in a way. I came from a very poor families, and I'm a well, like a second generational entrepreneur. My parents are entrepreneurs, but they're different. So like in like the success putting you in rooms that like they told you that like you could not get enter into, and being able to like really carve in a different space for yourself. Sorry, my baby just woke up, so my brain's in two different spots right now. But yeah, kind of more, it's like when the growth of the success of your business is something that's just so new. It puts you in a different environment, in a
Hmm.
different, around like different people.
Yep.
You kind of have to like, you walk in feeling like, oh, I didn't grow up feeling like I belonged in this space, but I'm
Yep.
here now. So being able to like still own yourself, still stay authentic to yourself, not feel like you're losing it.
Yeah. And you kind of spoke a little bit to imposter syndrome, right? It's you grew up without a lot of money, right? And you're in a place now where your success has brought you into rooms that you feel like you are an imposter sometimes, and you don't belong in those rooms. And that's I feel like, again, with somebody that's growing, that's going to continue to be the case. But I think that just taking a step back and realizing that I'm in this room for a reason. I got myself here, you know. That's really important. And knowing that, you're not an imposter. You're in that room because you earned it. And kind of speaking to people, a little bit of doubt that people have given you. Nicole knows this. I absolutely thrive on people telling me I can't do shit. Like, um, it's like my favorite thing. My favorite thing.
Can't
So,
take out the garbage.
all
I don't think you do
right,
it.
guys, I'll be back.
Can't
Uh,
book me a massage.
all right, I'll be back, guys. I got a lot of stuff to do now. But no, I think that, taking that as fuel. Somebody's like, oh, you can't be a successful this, you can't do this, you can't. Okay, fucking watch me, you know. Um, but yeah, so just kind of speaking of what you're talking about, that's something that as you grow, you're going to continue to struggle with. But just knowing who you are, knowing that you're in those rooms because you deserve to be there. And guess what? You continue to grow, you're going to keep getting into new rooms, and the old rooms are going to feel like, oh wow, you know, I'm not there anymore either. So um, just keep pushing, just keep growing, and knowing that every room you get into, you put yourself there.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon. I really appreciate that.
Mhm.
Karen asked, how did you justify not taking much of a paycheck for years? How did you know you were going to get to this point? And did you have a full-time job while building this business?
Um, yes. So I did have a full-time job in the beginning. Um, okay, actually, so let's take a step back. So this isn't my first business. Um, had another e-commerce business before that was successful. As I was building that one, I did have a full-time job until I was able to essentially quit that full-time job and go full with that business. Um, but yeah, how did I justify not paying myself a lot to build the business? I always had a vision for where this was going, and always believe it. Right. I feel like anybody that is an entrepreneur, you really need to have this just like unwavering, just optimism and just belief that in where you're going, right? And for me, I knew where we were going. I knew it was going to take a lot of work to get there, and I knew it was going to take us reinvesting as much money as possible in the business to get there. So it's just being able to sacrifice that to get you there. But that's, again, that's not for everybody. Like, there, you can be a very successful business owner and not scale a ton, right? You really need to figure out where you want to be, and understand that, like, it's not, that's not the same for everybody. Not everybody wants to have 50, 100, 150 employees. That's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. Um, there's a lot of very successful business people that I know that have no employees at all, or one or two. And it's just knowing what you want and where you want your business to go. And if it's scaling and you know that you need to continue to reinvest in that business to get there, then you need to sacrifice and not take a huge paycheck and just reinvest that in the business. So, for me, I knew that that's where I wanted to go. I wanted to grow this thing to be something that was, really, really big. And I knew that in order to do that, I needed to make the sacrifices financially to make sure that we had the funds to do that.
Awesome. What is one sales strategy, if you look back on everything that you've done, worked on, that you feel like this is what probably took my business to the next level, and how can we replicate it?
Um, so okay, I think some people struggle with sales because they don't really understand what sales is, what it is. Um, everything that you're selling, it's your help. You're basically, what you're doing is you're helping the customer get what they want. Okay, so the biggest thing is being able to ask the qualifying questions to your customers to figure out what it is that drives them and what it is that they want. What are the things that, what are their problems? So for us, one of the biggest problems was that playing baseball and softball and sporting goods were too expensive, and it was pricing a lot of people out of the game. And so that was a problem that we saw, and we addressed it by making high quality stuff affordable again. So for you, it's understanding your customer's problems and being able to speak to them in a way that you're solving their problem. And that's all sales is there's a problem there and you're solving that for them. So if it's a service, say, you're a auto mechanic, right? And you specialize in fast oil changes. Okay, that's your go-to. Well, your ideal customer is somebody that doesn't have a lot of time and they need to be in and out, right? And so you want to speak to that customer. Their problem is they need an oil change and they don't have a lot of time to do it. So, creating a either copy or a some kind of like a script that says we're the fastest out there, in and out in 10 minutes guaranteed, or it's 20% off of your next, something along those lines, to where you're speaking to them, you're like, oh hell yeah, I got 10 minutes. I don't have 40, so I'm not going to this guy, but I have 10, so I'll come to you. So figuring out what your customers' problems are and solving them.
Yeah. Bree says, how did you figure out the language they used about their problem? Was it market research, A/B with content, competition research?
Um, I would say definitely all of those things. Competition research for sure, seeing what language they're using. But I think that the biggest thing that you can do when it comes to selling your product or service is being able to put yourself in your customer's shoes and really thinking like they think. If you can really put yourself in their shoes and think like they think, then you know what language to use, because you can use that language on yourself, right? Um, Even just asking some of your customers that you have had some success with, hey, what is it that brought you to me? What did I say? What did I do that led you here? And you know that'll give you everything you need. You're going to know by then, because that's a success, right? That's somebody that you closed. You have a successful exchange there. asking them for the feedback. Oh, well, it was because you said this, and that really resonated with me. That's you make a mental note of that. Okay, well, I didn't even really know that was something that was key, but now I do because that was the one thing I said that led this person to me. And taking notes of those things and duplicating and using it more. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is putting yourself in your customer's shoes and being able to really sit in their seat and think like they think. And that's really marketing right there, and sales is being able to identify with your customers and knowing what they want, so that way you can help them to get it.
What common mistakes do you see business owners making when trying to grow their business and increase revenue, and how can we avoid them?
Oh, I think one of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot, and mistakes that I've made also, so see in myself, is what I said about what three things would I change, and the number one thing I said was documentation and all of those things. So that's something that if you're looking to scale a business right now, start documenting right away. Document your process, create standard operating procedures for things, create playbooks for your processes, because as you scale, you're going to want a really solid foundation. And that's what all of that is. All of your standard operating procedures, your playbooks, those things are, that is your foundation. And you want that to be strong. So that's one of the biggest things, one of the biggest mistakes that I've made, honestly, is that, and having to go back and backtrack and now build all of those things. It's a lot harder now than it would have been if I would have just done that right from the get-go. So I think that's probably the number one mistake, is that, as a business owner and somebody that's building and scaling a business, you're so focused on like build, like revenue, get revenue, get revenue, get revenue, and not focusing on how are you getting the revenue and how can you show those processes to somebody else, so that way it's very clear to a new hire, what their job duties are going to be and how to do those jobs. And for anybody that is kind of interested in like scaling a business and playbooks and those types of things that I'm talking about, there's a book called Get Scalable. And I would definitely get that book. I have it in my bag right over here. I can go grab it and show it to you. But yeah, I would definitely get that. Get Scalable.
Um, does anybody have any? I have more questions, but I don't want to.
I have one more. Well, I have two more questions, but I can start with one question. Um, there's a really big hot topic going on right now about the idea of shifting the look on like having clients or having, customers and being able to like build community, building a community around your brand. I was wondering if you have utilized that strategy in your business, and like how do you make sure that your clients and customers like feel like they're a part of a community, like part of the community, or how do you ensure that they feel like appreciated, valued, like seen as individuals and not just as revenue numbers?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think it depends on the business, but I do think that it is really important to, for your customers to feel like they matter. Um, Community is one way that a lot of businesses are doing that successfully. What is Bree? What is your business? What is it that you do?
I'm an entrepreneurship coach for women. So I community is a really big aspect here, but it's also just being able to like, oh, hey buddy. Yeah, I'm an entrepreneurship coach.
Okay. So yeah, I think that for you and your business, that a community would be huge. Yeah, absolutely. Because obviously we're all on this call right now, right? This is an entrepreneur group. Why are we all here? Because this is a community, and it's important. So I definitely think that for your business, building a community is huge. Kind of something that you were talking about earlier about being in a room with people and all of that. That is I can tell you that the more and more you go through business, the smaller and smaller the rooms get, as far as the people that get what you are going through, what you're going through, because as you continue to grow, there's less and less of them. But that it becomes more and more important, right? Because you need somebody to ask these questions to. You need somebody that is dealing with the same things that you're dealing with, and can relate to you, and people that you can reside on. So I think for your business, building a community is for sure something that you want to do. We did it with our business as well, in a couple of different ways. One being every person, it's a little bit of a transactional thing for us. So we want to try to get something back from them to help build that community. So we are always inviting all of our customers to send us user generated content. So, hey, we didn't just sell you a pair of batting gloves, we want to see you using these batting gloves. Send us a video of your hit that you got from the other game, or send us a picture of your team wearing our uniforms, and we'll share it on social media and call you out, and let us be a part of your journey through sports and using our products. So that's kind of how we built a community there. And we get tons and tons of user generated content, which helps us too, because that's more stuff for us to put out there. But it also helps to kind of build more of a community there, because we feel like we know these kids and these athletes that are using our stuff, and we're fans of theirs. We're like, oh yeah, Bobby just hit another home run. And we literally in the office have had several times where customers that we sold a bat to, they sent us like 6 different home run videos, and we're like, now we know who this person is and where they play, and like rooting for them, and like, oh man, I can't wait till tomorrow, and oh, did he hit a home run today? Like those types of things. So I think building communities, that's how we've done it. It's kind of different than your business, but
Oh, that's really
yeah,
beautiful, because I feel like that also builds upon like the culture of your team as well.
yeah, yeah, and that's been a huge thing, for us is in hiring, and the hiring process is, this wasn't a question that I got, but I think it's important, and I think it's hiring people that are also passionate about what you're passionate about and what your business is. Because if everybody knows that you're going to be more invested in something that you're passionate about, right? I talked about a business that I owned prior to this one, and it did well, but I wasn't passionate about it, and I really wanted something I was passionate about. And this business has done way, way, way more than the other one would have and ever would have, because the passion wasn't there. So when you're talking about hiring people and trying to duplicate yourself, finding people that share that passion, it just creates an amazing company culture as well, because you come in and we're all talking about like, oh, what happened in the game last night, or this or that, and it just, that passion piece is really important when you're hiring people, and you're gonna have a lot more successful hires when you're putting that into the equation.
Kieran asked, how do you find other mentors?
Yeah, I think a good place to do that is here, doing things like this. You're in the right place, getting into these groups, getting into these rooms, whether they be virtual rooms like this, or going to events. I know these guys are hosting some events too. Going to those events, you never know who you're going to meet there. You can meet a new best friend there. You can meet a mentor there. So I think getting yourself out there and getting into those rooms is really how you're gonna meet your new mentors. And then guess what? Hopefully you outgrow that mentor and you need a new one, and you need to get into a new group. So
Yeah.
I think Karen also asked, oh, sorry, how do you avoid burnout?
Today, Karen.
um, you know, that's a really hard one. I think that it's tough. I think self-care is really important. And that's something that everybody kind of struggles with, right? For me is, I got a trainer, and he comes to the house 3 times a week. And that kind of helps me to take care of myself. And for everybody, it doesn't, your self-care and what kind of drives you and brings you back to center might be something different. It might be just taking, you like hiking, and making sure that 3 times a week you're going out into the woods, and just feeding your soul, right? But I think self-care is really important when it comes to avoiding burnout. um, if you're somebody that is very, very driven, and you're passionate about what you're doing, and you're growth minded, it's going to be hard to avoid some kind of burnout at some points. It's in the entrepreneur's nature to just go, 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 go. And especially when it's something you're passionate about growing. So I think just trying to, um, take the time to care about yourself and your routine. Nicole is probably the best person that I've ever met at that. She literally has every single day a routine that she goes through. And she can speak on kind of what that is, but she does an amazing job at that.
Yeah, I don't fuck around with self-care.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions before we close up today? Okay. So if you are looking for a mentor, Casey and I are offering business coaching both individually and together. So we do have that as an opportunity. And if you kind of just want to like figure out and get your toes wet, we do have our business audit, which is currently on sale for $97. So it's a 20-minute video review with us so that we can review your landing pages, your websites, your social medias, and just look at maybe your blind spots to why you're not converting more clients, give you some feedback, and offer some really helpful suggestions of how you actually might make more money doing what you love. But this, if you've loved this, we were so grateful that you have came, and Brandon, thanks for taking time out of your busy day to join us. But we are here because we are taking this several steps deeper. This is kind of a sneak peek into our Visionary Blueprint course. It is built to help women entrepreneurs scale to the next level. So we are super, super excited. And because you guys are here today watching this, we are offering this 8-module course. So it's a deep dive, basically what we've been doing the last 3 days, but 20 levels deeper, full hours, really incredible guests. And we're offering that. It's usually $24.99, and we will be offering that for $9.97 for anybody who uses the code VISION25. I will drop all of that information. Casey and Chelsea, if you just want to add to that while I get the link in there.
Yeah, 1 second. I think I'm still under your name. Yeah, so I don't have the list of modules in front of me, but I know we're going to be covering funnels, automations. Nicole is doing Millionaire Mindset, which if you guys saw her speak at the last event, it was so good. And she has a lot of background in getting into the mindset, especially for entrepreneurs that you're, looking to get in. And it's really awesome. I don't know, Nicole, do you have the list of the modules pulled up? And we can
Yep.
kind of give a little snapshot.
I
Yes.
wanted to say just really quick, kind of before we do the modules, and just so you guys know, like the 3 of us clearly have 3 different areas of expertise, right? So we are very different from just like taking a course from one business person. You're literally getting 3 perspectives, 3, all of the lessons we've learned along the way and all of the things that are working for us. And if it's something that we don't feel like we are masters at, we are bringing in like the top people in the community for you guys. So it's just know that like we have got your back on this. Like it's going to be so good and so packed with value, and just the people that we kind of know in our community and that we support and trust with certain topics, they're also going to be popping in to teach you guys on these different things.
Yeah, I think we have Trisha's recording if you guys missed the last Visionary Blueprint event, Trish Seaman was our guest speaker, and she did an entire segment on marketing. I know a little bit about marketing. Trish is like
Next level.
Yeah, if you guys liked what you heard yesterday, she's unbelievable. And she is part of this course. So we are actually doing the module piece for marketing with her.
Yes. Yes, and the other modules are clarity and direction, getting really, really clear on your goals, the wording, the stuff we talked about in branding, and really creating a roadmap for your success that aligns with your vision. Module 2 is branding like a boss. So it's really breaking down everything we did into a really, really detailed format so that you can replicate it. Module 3 is magnetic marketing with Trish Seaman. She is a marketing guru, maybe one of the best people I've ever heard speak on marketing to this day. Shine online, make your brand visible, the art of showing up. So we are bringing in somebody who specializes in basically positioning yourself in the market to be the expert. Millionaire mindset with me. So cultivating a seven-figure mindset. Breaking through the limiting beliefs that hold you back, because honestly, I feel like half of business is in your head. And why you're not doing different things or better is in your head. Casey is going to be helping us deep dive in module 6 in networks that thrive. So curating powerful connections. Obviously, she's franchised in a million different places. So she is going to be deep diving into that. She is probably the best at that I have ever met. And then Chelsea's walking us through systems and automations. When I tell you that Chelsea understands system and automations, like, and I just always have to pick her brain because I have no idea on any of that. I can funnel, but systems and automations are like, help. And then we're going to be doing next level growth. So we're going to bring back Brandon and do a deeper dive into everything cash flow, leads, and sales. And then I have a couple surprise bonuses for you guys. So is the format like this, live with the chat, open to questions? Yes. So Karen, we are doing, you can purchase the course for $9.97, and we're going to add on an opportunity to do it live. So what it will look like is it's kind of like you'll get the course, you'll get to work through it on your own, and then we'll do weekly calls starting in May, and we will be doing like once a week on, I think we picked Thursdays at 11 for 45 minutes. So any questions you have on that. So you can kind of dive into that weeks of the course, like the clarity part, and work on it all week and then come back with us. So we will have an opportunity for you to work with us. But if you lock yourself into the $9.97, it'll just be like a little upgrade to that. So yes, I think that's like, that was something we were talking about, is like, how many courses have people purchased that they never completed because they didn't have the like support and help in place to ask questions. So yeah, so make sure that if you want that, like I said, I dropped the link, that'll be open for the week, and we'll close out that code Vision 25. And then we'll give you guys the opportunity to do the questions as well, and I'll give you the information for that too. But we would love to have you. We're super excited, and we know that this information is all the information that has made all of our businesses successful, that we've learned from great people like Brandon, like Trish, and we're really lucky to be able to do this. So thank you guys for taking so much time out of your day to hang with us. Check your emails for all the follow-up details.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Great job.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Very cool.
Thank you guys.
Bye.